went to middle school, it's when bullying really started to hit me. I used to be called names, I got cyberbullied a lot, and it made me feel really bad. After I survived middle school, I finally started getting into my near freshman years, and the bullying and cyberbullying gets way worse than it was. I used to get called really offensive names. I got picked on for no apparent reason. People made me feel really bad about myself. And I see people at my school doing things to themselves, like wanting to commit suicide, and then seeing them cut themselves with knives on their arms and legs. And it made me feel really bad. And then when I'm thinking about doing it, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. So I just forget about all those mean thoughts. But the bullying continues over and over again. One day, we were playing kickball, and while I was running to a base, a kid accidentally ran into me. I fell to the floor and hit my head straight on the ground. When I hit the ground, I blacked out for a little while, and I woke up and I started crying because it really hurt. Turns out I went to the doctor and I had a concussion. I almost broke the orbital bone around my eye. So after that, I just kind of played it off, and I'm like, hey, I got a concussion. I mean, look at my face. I actually got bullied a lot for it. I got called names. A kid made a really bad post about it, and he said, this is what an unathletic kid looks like. And I was really upset. I used to fake being sick to go home just so I can go and lay in my room or just not go to school or cry or something like that. And when I try to do stuff, like, none of the teachers would do anything for me. They would just, say, we'll just give them a warning, and, if they stop, then it's good, right? No, it never stopped, and it's still going on. I still get bullied almost every day, and I wish it would stop sometime soon, but I don't think it's going anywhere.
When I was a freshman in high school, I met this guy at a carnival, and I didn't think he was cute at first, but me and him slowly started to become best friends. Eventually, we really started to hit it off, and we ended up really liking each other. For the first few months, everything was okay. We were in our honeymoon phase, and I really thought that I was in love with him. I slowly started to realize that he wouldn't let me do anything. He wouldn't let me go out with my friends. He wouldn't let me text someone that I knew and had been friends with for a really long time. He always told me that I wasn't good enough. This guy just put me down every single day, and I dealt with it for 3 years. And I never thought that it was wrong, because I had never been in a serious relationship before. He caused a lot of depression and anxiety for me. He just got worse and worse, and I still was dating him. You never realize how capable people are of being evil. No, he didn't say stuff that people could see or hurt me in any kind of way besides emotionally. But being hurt emotionally hurts just as bad as being hurt physically. It ruins you just as bad. To this day, everything he said to me is stuck in the back of my head. But then I think, who was he? He was an awful person. And the things he said to me weren't true. It's taken me a long time to get over it, but finally, I found this amazing guy that loves me for who I am and would never say stuff to me like that. And I'm so thankful that I finally stood up for myself and broke up with him.
There are people in our lives that make us feel safe and loved and respected. And then for some of us out there are people in our lives that are supposed to make us safe and loved and respected, but they don't do their job. My entire life I've had a wonderful father who has made so many sacrifices for me and taken care of me so that I could have a better future. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about my mother. From a young age, I was always ridiculed, teased, and taunted by my mom. And whenever I did something wrong, I wasn't properly sat down and disciplined. I was yelled at and smacked even sometimes. I grew up with a very low self-esteem because my mom would say things like, "You're terrible, I don't like you, I don't love you at all." I think that you're a big burden to this family. What sin could I have possibly committed to have had you as a kid?" And she thought that all of these words would just brush over and that I would realize that she somehow didn't mean them. But she said them so many times that I don't think she doesn't believe them. In fact, I'm quite sure that she means everything that she says. And as a result, it has lowered my self-esteem and my self-worth, and it has made me do things like cutting and inflicting self-harm. As a young adult, even now, I suffer with this. Of course, I've stopped inflicting self-harm, but I have struggled with my self-worth so much. Whenever I look into the mirror, I can't see a girl that I love and appreciate. I can't see somebody that is strong and independent. I see someone who's weak and who's been broken and shattered by a negative influence all her life. To those of you out there who are struggling because of some negative influence in your life, whether it be your parents or an ex-best friend or an ex-boyfriend or a bully or anything, please remember that you're not alone, that you don't deserve to suffer this way, and nobody should be able to say that to you. You are wonderful, compassionate human beings, and you have so much to offer this world. Don't let this negative influence take over your life anymore.
It was at primary school that I started to wear scarves as I was a Muslim, and every time I used to go to school, everyone used to make fun of me because I'm a Muslim, and you know those terrorist attacks. There was this one time where some girl on this game actually let go of me for being a Muslim. One time a girl actually kicked me because I was a Muslim. I would sometimes go in my room and cry. I had to tell the teacher everyone was being racist to me. But at least I still had some of my friends to support me when I was feeling blue. I always get bullied about me being a Muslim, and I'm gonna be planting some bombs around. But I love being a Muslim. Yes, we have to hide our hair. Yes, we have to hide our skin. But we all are beautiful. Just the same way.
Started high school, I was the only girl in the entire school who wore hijab, and I was really scared, I was nervous, and I stood out so much. I was afraid that people would question me and look at me weirdly, but they didn't, and everyone seemed to accept me, so I started to feel comfortable. So later in the year, I was sitting in class, minding my own business, while a group of guys across the classroom were playing Truth or Dare. One of the guys from the group comes up behind me and they pull my hijab off. And I just froze on the spot and I was so shocked. So I just took my blazer off and I covered my hair. I wanted to go to the teacher, and as I was walking, the guy and his friends come up to me and they try pulling my blazer off my head, saying, "No, let me see your hair, let me see your hair." And I felt so attacked and I wanted to cry and I was shivering and I said, "Please leave me alone." Luckily, somehow, I managed to get away from them, and I went up to the teacher and I told her these guys made a dare to pull my scarf off and I don't know what to do because people saw my hair. And she spoke to me and she said, "It's okay, don't worry, just quickly go to the bathroom and fix it up." So I ran as fast as I could down the stairs, across the passages and whatnot. I went to the bathroom and I was so
so shaky. I went to call my dad. I was freaking out. I eventually calmed down and I fixed my hijab and I made it back to class. All the learners were gone and the guy who pulled my hijab off was standing in class with a teacher and she was scolding him, yelling at him and shouting at him, and he looked like he was about to cry. And so at that moment I felt, he learned his lesson. So afterwards, the boy left and my teacher came up to me and she asked me if I was okay, and I said yes. And she said if anything happened to me again, I should let her know. I felt okay after that, and I'm pretty sure everyone forgot about that moment.
Student and I study AMT, which is basically aircraft mechanics. I'm having a lot of issues with bullying. This guy, he's a real jerk. Because he keeps on scaring me every now and then, and I kept telling him to stop. This guy would hide under the table and jump out and yell, or hide behind a group of guys, and also jump out and yell when I want to go and talk to them. Or when I'm in the bathroom minding my own business, and then he slams the door and screamed as hard as he could. Gave me like a mini heart attack. I felt super scared. I decided that I had enough of this nonsense, so I started complaining about him to my college student services and management. The next day he came to me saying, "Yo, did you complain about me?" And I said, "Yeah, because I told you to stop bothering me and you didn't." And then he just said, "Okay," and just left. Like, this guy is literally heartless. Like, if surgeons gave him surgery, they will find no heart in there. When I got back to class, everyone was looking at me, telling me, "Yo, why did you complain about him? And that's not cool, and stop being a child." I was extremely intimidated to keep my mouth shut that day because I thought it will make matters even worse. So the entire day, he started bullying me even more, but differently. He started saying things behind my back. And honestly, all those words that he said, sure, he said it behind my back, but I can hear him. And what's worse is he's got a bunch of guys against me. The end of the day came, I was walking to my car, and these guys will follow me and started yelling a bunch of words like, "Hey loser, where are you going? Are you gonna go cry to your mommy? Is your daddy gonna take you to the park and buy you ice cream? Aw, how sad." And I get in my car, and on my way back home, I was extremely upset of what happened. I was on the verge of tears. I made it back home. I saw my grandma, she was visiting us, and I didn't want my mom and my grandma to see how upset I was. So I faked a smile, and I said, "Hi, how are you guys doing?" So I went to my room, locking myself in, thinking about what happened. And then my grandma and my mom asked me to join them in the backyard for some dessert. And they asked me, "Is everything okay? And we feel like something's bothering you." And so I told them the entire story because I felt like I need to get it out of my chest. They were shocked and I started to cry a little. But then my grandma told me in the end, those people will be begging for extra change in the sidewalk and you will be in a better position. And honestly, it really made me feel better about myself. So in conclusion, if you're a bully, just stop it. Life is not worth upsetting people and just having fun ruining their days.
It all started in 6th grade, where we were going to do the frog dissection, and I was so excited for this because ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to dissect a frog. We were split into groups, but if you don't know, I'm an introvert, and I like to do things by myself. I probably could have done this whole thing by myself, but you gotta learn how to work together in the future, or else you'll be a sad, lonely man. Okay, now we were split in a group, and there was this bully in our group. He was mean to most people. He said a lot of bad things to people, so he was going to choose the frog. Now, when he chose a frog, he splatted on the tray, but it was like bigger than the tray. It was a huge frog. Now, we had to check the mouth, and the tongue looked like it had been melted off. It was just disgusting. We don't know what happened to the tongue. Like, there was people crowded around us, and we really didn't know what happened. So now it was time to get to the dissecting part. Sadly, it wasn't me who was going to dissect it. It was another girl. Now, when she was dissecting it, we couldn't even see the organs because it was covered with eggs. It was really disgusting. There was a girl across the table who had a pale white face, and we were looking at her saying, "Hey, are you gonna be okay?" And then all of a sudden she just starts to pass out. I'm like, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? Do we continue with the dissection? I was very traumatized because we weren't even done and class was almost over, and now someone in our group just passed out. Now, the teacher gave her a wheelchair and rode her to the nurse. We didn't learn anything because now class is over and we failed that quiz. And we had a reason to. Now, I don't think there's really a moral to the story, but if I can come up with one from the top of my head, maybe it's to don't be with a nauseous girl if you're dissecting a frog.
Ce conjunctivită, frate! Opa! Lasă-mă cumva să mă prindă garda, că le dau și la alții. Deschide poliția! Afumil, vino-mi în ajutor! Oh, domnul ofițer! Dar ce mă bucur să intrați! Nu trebuie să vă descălțați! Haideți! Afumil, de mii de ori mai bine când dă garda peste tine. Ziceai că-i spăla vasele? Uite aici! Papanaș!
Nimic mai simplu. Fairy și o mașină de spălat vase ieftină ar putea face ce nevastă ta nici nu visează. Uite acolo.
Gata!
Fairy, bazează-te pe noi când nu poți pe nevastă ta. Vă vine să credeți sau nu, dar femeile se cacă enorm. Când intru la WC, nu știu niciodată dacă o să mă ies. Noroc că am spray-ul V.I. căcat. Face o barieră atât de puternică, încât aproape nici balega mea nu trece prin ea. După ce am terminat, mă șterg la cur. Îi permit lui Viorel să adulmece. Căcat. V.I. căcat. Te caci fără să pută mortăciune. Într-o zi, Ruby, zâna bună, își mângâia pisicuța. Apoi a luat un cuplu de bătrânei de la Catena și 3 virgini de la Politehnică și i-a păcălit că o să-i vadă pisicuța.
Wow! Țeapă!
Însă cei 3 virgini au devenit acum
Țâțe!
3 virgini gay și se vor deflora unul pe celălalt. Cuplul de bătrânei a fost transformat într-unul de vamaioți, proaspăt întorși cu BlaBlaCar de la vama veche. Iar pisicuța lui Ruby a devenit mai mare, mai plănoasă și foarte periculoasă pentru sănătate.
Auzi, Ioane?
Ia,
Dragă-ți carnea. Același coșmar cu ciobanul care îți oferă carnea lui nu-ți mai face griji. Mâine merge la dentist. Îți umple el carile.
În România, 7 din 10 adulți se confruntă cu problema cariilor. Pentru a evita apariția acestora, folosește
Carne cu garniture de carne. Tu știi ce mai bun decât carnea? Dar și după ce am mâncat de 2 ori, nu ți-ai mutat din loc. La Calut ne pricepem la îngrijire orală. Sincer, nu-ți schimbi tu baia doar pentru că arată ca p***a. Motivul e purcica. Motivul e purcica.
Mici, ceafă, aripioare. Mă duci la Madhouse sau mănânc grezia?
la Madhouse, adică casa lui măta, poți să vii când nevastă ta dă cod roșu de foame. Cumpără-i dracu un grătar și faceți pe balcon. Madhouse ține cu grasa.
Faceți cunoștință cu Elena Ceaușescu și Ioana Iguana. După cum se vede, una dintre ele pare să fie mai săracă și cealaltă mai bogată, adică Elena Ceaușescu mai săracă și Ioana Iguana mai bogată pentru că are mobilă cumva a la Ikea, dar de fapt nu e de la Ikea, e probabil de la Mobila Dalin, că se vede după inserțiile alea cu fluturi penibile și nu știu, calitatea destul de proastă din punct de vedere estetic. Și un șemineu. Șemineu folosit probabil Elena își spală și își freacă călcâiele într-un lighean, pe când Ioana își bagă picioarele într-o pungă de la M.A.I. Elena are picioarele bătucite de la cât stă toată ziua la serviciu în picioare, pe când Ioana oricum e o panoramă și jumătate. Pe când 5-6 ani mai tânăr decât ea, ca să mai picioarele.
Ai fugit ca o panoramă de la propria nuntă cu șoferul limuzinei după ce ai băut și mâncat bine? Bagă un orbit ca să nu faci carii de la câtă carne în gură o să-ți bage nuntașii.
Cumpărăți acum un pachet de vacanță în Tel Aviv și Ierusalim și îți oferim din partea casei o bunăciune care să te acompanieze peste tot și să se asigure că îți vei cheltui ultimul ban. Acolo vei vedea buci. În principiu vei vedea numai bucile ei, pentru că să recunoaștem cui pasă de artă, ruine sau restaurante. Două orașe, o unică bunăciune. Hai, știi că vrei.
Iubire, mi-e foame. Ce buze coapte și faine.
Tu la ce te uiți? Hă? La curve.
Ce țițe mișto.
Ia.
Am sticla.
Ai pula, coaie!
O rup cu bătaia. Mai bine alergi cu mașina. Apa Aquavia. Am făcut și noi reclamă.
La Napolac avem grijă de fericirea ta. Noua Sana cu marihuana vine într-o doză mică, dar puternică, îndeajuns încât să te facă să ai tot felul de filme. Pentru că e atât de pură, până și cei din jurul tău vor putea vedea tripul și vă veți putea bucura împreună de relaxare. Napolac, picătura ta de verde. Bună, vecine, ai niște PCP?
Cum sunt?
Ai niște ciuperci? Ai cumva niște ex? Un cui atâta?
Vecine, ai cumva niște coca? Cristal sau praf?
Praf.
Toți românii au un vecin care le are pe toate. De la prafuri la cristale, herbale și legale. Sau cașcaval. Sau ciocolată.
Frigider, în papuci, în geantă între jucării, sub covor, în pat, pe masă. Știi sigur că ai făcut pipi chiar imediat după Dac TV și înainte de somnul de prânz. Dar nu știi ce ai făcut cu el. Te mai uiți în dulap, în cadă, în cutii. Asta e. Te duci să iei de la magazin. Psst, băiatul, ai dat subscribe.
Un om informat este un om puternic. Află totul dinainte. Vezi și alții vor citi de-abia mâine. Cele mai importante știri. Revista presei la TVR Info.